What's up, my friends? Welcome back to the wonderful, dangerous, and intergalactic world of Majestic 13. Today we finally rolled a wilderness scenario. So as the name implied, my dispersed are dispersed around the board. Mostly along this middle line. As dispersed, I can deploy anywhere that I want, but I didn't want to deploy somewhere that was going to put me right on top of the Zelak, which is the alien that we will be hunting today. We'll take a closer look at him in just a second, but he's up there by the meth shack on the other side of the river. There he is. He's a monstrosity, so we'll be using that set of AI. And now that we're in phase 2, he's pretty beefy. He has 30 more hit points than his normal version, and quite a bit more of other things as well. So as our Zelak cannot see anyone, as I am both hidden from being dispersed and out of line of sight because of the way I deployed, he will try to spot, which he will do on pretty much anything but a 1 at acuity 28. The D20 plus his stat, a 5, that's a 32. That's plenty to spot me, but he still can't see me because I'm out of line of sight. So he will move in a random direction up to his full movement. Its random direction takes it to the side of the board. He was the first activation, I'm the second. He'll also be the third activation. DJ will go first for me. I want to keep him in cover. I just want to get him to where he can see. And he will take a shot at the Zelak. At 20. That's going to hit. Zelak is defense 26. I got a 36. So we're definitely going to hit. Technically I got like a 34 because I have a minus from my weapon. For 3d6 damage. That's a pretty good roll to get things going. That's almost max damage. We go back to the Zelak, who has a movement of 22, and he can see DJ, so he will come at him. So he gets 2 swings here. I'm just going to roll both the d20s at the same time, and then we'll sort out the damage of what hits. So we got a 7 and a 19. So the 7 will miss completely. The 19 will hit, but how much damage he rolls does not matter because I have a bubble that the first time I take damage, all of that damage is reduced to 0. So the Zelak will miss and then pop the bubble, or pop the bubble and then miss, whichever way you prefer to think about it. Next up in the initiative order is Alexander the Red, and because I haven't mentioned it yet this game, the initiative order is based on the acuity stat of your team. And you just go from highest to lowest. So he's going to move, and then we're going to lick some shots at that Zelak. And your movement is equal to your dexterity stat. Let's see if we can hit him. 13 should hit. After modifiers, that brings that hit to a 31, which is enough to hit with his automatic battle or heavy repeating battle rifle. It's going to be 3d6 worth of damage. Let's see if we can get another proper lick on him like we did last time. It was like a third as good. 10 damage. 11 damage because of how high his combat skill is. There was also an extra damage from the shot that DJ put on him. Next up, our man Fenrir, who we've been slowly raising up everybody's combat, is going to take a shot and then move. We're going to take our shot. 12. 12 will hit for 2d6. 7 plus 1 for my combat skill goes to 8. Next up, the main man Maui will dump some shots. $13. That 13 hits. It'll be 4d6 for his weapon. So 9, 10, 11, 12. 13 for his combat. And also I have a weapons depot, which I forgot about, so that's another +1. So goes to 14, and then another 3 damage from the previous hits where I missed it. Maui is then also going to move away just a little bit because this guy really wants to have me be grouped up with him, and I don't want to give him what he wants. Last up in the round for me is Ghost, who's going to shoot and then move away. That's cocked in the bushes. A 2 is going to be a miss. That is low enough to miss. And then the move running around this large rocky outcropping because I don't want to deal with going through it. His goal is to get over to the meth shack so that he can collect some alien tissue samples. He's the fastest person on the team, so he always ends up being the runner. Turn will reset. We'll go to turn 2, and Zelak's going to get to lay into me. I no longer have a bubble on DJ. However, I do still have some damage reduction from heavy armor as well as dermal plating. And then take his 2 swings. A 3 is a miss, and the 14 will pop the bubble. Luckily, we still haven't gotten a foobar. Luckily, when you are in the woods, the chance of a foobar is slightly lower. You have a -1 modifier to the roll because there's fewer people around. We're not worried about the meth heads seeing the alien. Who's going to believe them? They're meth heads. So DJ, going to take the shot. A 12 is a hit. Or 3d6. 8, 13, 14, 15 damage with my bonuses. So in this situation, because Maui has the lowest hit points, he will continue to punch him. 6 is a miss. 8, I got to do some math. So the 8 will hit. 8 is the cutoff for him to hit my defense. So the one that hit is 4d6 minus 2. All right, I got kind of lucky there as far as the damage goes. We'll just take those away. 7 damage. Next will be Alexander, who will reposition just a little bit and take our shot. 14 should hit. 3d6 worth of damage. 10, 12 plus 2, 14. Next up for me is Fenrir, and he will take a shot. Combat 19. Combat 19. And that's a hit. Now, luckily, normally in the game you crit on a 20. Because of how high my combat is, I crit on a 19 or a 20, but I hope that I keep not critting because the monstrosity class will get an extra activation when you crit against them. So far, so good. Now watch me crit my next roll. 2d6 plus 2 damage. 7, 8, 9. Also, allow me to back up for a moment because I needed to take a fortitude test when that Zelak did damage to me. So we're good. Target number 20. I'm fortitude 14 or 15. We're good on a 13. Last up for the round is Ghost, who's going to cook it over to the shack. And then he's going to try to call for aid. We are on... Actually, you know what? I'm not going to call for aid. I'm going to try to call in the drone strike. So this is an attack at combat 19. 14 plus 19 is going to hit, and it's going to hit for 5d6 plus 1. I think the plus 1 applies there for my not for the combat skill, but for the weapon depot. Let's get a good one. That's pretty good. For a total of 24 damage, which puts him at 116 damage taken. He will go into Extremis after 1 more damage. We proceed to turn 3. where the Zelak has the initiative, and he will send them claws at a still unpoisoned Maui. So that is a hit and a miss with a 17 and a 3. And because Maui is already damaged, that will trigger the Cruel Strikes. So the damage is reduced by 2d6. However, the stat check difficulty is increased by 3. So 2d6. So 6 minus 2 for my armor and dermal plating is 4 damage, and then a fortitude check. Fortitude check. 7 plus fortitude 14 is not going to be good enough. He will be poisoned. Okay, scary as it may be, I'm going to shoot with DJ. Scary because of the potential of putting him into extremis and then having to deal with that. Or I roll a 1 and just miss completely. It would appear that the dice sorted out that anxiety for me, and then we come back to the Zelak, who is not yet in extremis, punching at Maui. So we got a critical miss and a hit. Because he was poisoned, the attack had surprise, but that would have let him crit on a 19 or 20. However, if I fail this stat check, I will be stunned in addition to poisoned. Maui next, and I get to try to clear a condition. I need to try to clear the stunned condition so that I can still hopefully get a shot off that's decent. But I need a big roll because I'm phase 2, so it's 25 target number to shake the condition. Oh, you son of a gun. You wanted to be a 20 so bad. So that's a fail. I do not. I can still shoot, but my effectiveness is halved. So I would need a really good roll to hit him. 4 is an nope, not going to do it. Ghost will move to touch the terrain to collect the tissue sample. And he will attempt to call for aid to bring in a drone strike. It's turn 3, so I need a 3 or better. We get the drone strike. But unfortunately, we still have to roll to see if the drone strike hits. A 9 will hit with combat 21. That's a 30. 5d6 plus 4 plus 1 for my depot. Alright, so before we go into the next turn, I had read it wrong. It's not a modifier to the foobar roll for city versus wilderness. It is a modifier to the call for aid roll. But I don't think that my mistake messed up the game. If it did, I'm sorry, but it's too late to go back. Anyways, we finally got our first foobar, or our foobar for the game. It is a time-space distortion. So I'm going to roll a d6 for everybody on the table. And on a 5 up, they're going to get shunted 2d6 in a random direction and then take that much damage. So the only 2 to get displaced were Ghost, who got shunted to the west for 7 inches and popped his bubble, and our alien, who got shunted 7 inches to the southeast, which is good for me because that brings him closer to killing himself with his extremis roll. He's not close enough to do it. He's at 146. He would need to be at 148 in order to kill himself on boxcars. But he is going to hurt himself and hopefully hurt himself pretty good when he activates right now. Let's get our 2d6 extremis damage first. 10. Excellent. So Maui is the one with the lowest health, and he's also the one who is poisoned. So that's going to bring him back onto Maui. He'll then have his swing. Two hits. First hit. Eesh. Second hit. So that will take Maui out. Because he's in extremis, I'm not exactly sure when the extra action when they're in extremis is supposed to come, but I always do it immediately following their first action. So he's going to go with the one with the lowest health, which is probably going to be Fenrir. Oh no, Fenrir's pretty beefy. Nope, it's DJ. However, he is activated in extremis, and he has 4 health left. So hopefully he just falls into the ground as he charges at me. He does. So that's going to be the end of the mission. At turn 4, couldn't get him for the extra points turn 3, but we didn't have civilians. But the more pressing matter is that our friend Maui is jacked up. And the Zelak has a special thing where if he kills somebody, you got to roll twice and then apply both. So, let's see what our first one is. A 9 is a permanent, so we got 1 permanent injury. And the second one, oh snap, that's death. That's just death. However, all of our genetic imprints are maintained on record at some government building somewhere, because agents are just too valuable to lose. So we got to roll 2d6 on the cloning table to see if we come back weird. That's an 11. That should be, like, fine and dandy. Oh, no, something's off. So we've got to randomly assign and lower some stats. So we got 3 stats, because I'm not psionic, so I can't do that one. Acuity, combat. No, we got 4 stats. So we're going to get a D8, and we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's a 2. So that's my combat. No, not my combat. And it's going to go down by 1d6. That's okay. We're going to select a different stat. Can't be the same one, so now we're down to 3 options. So we're on a D3. 1, and that's my acuity, and that's going to go up by a D6. Sweet. I think that's a net win, honestly, because I don't really take a penalty from 19 to 20 on my combat. So Maui comes back really better than ever. So everyone except Maui gets 3 XP. Maui gets 2 XP. He had 1 in the hole, but that gets lost when you get cloned. So that means Maui, because of my combat depot, I can just spend the 2 that he has to put his combat back to 20. I should maybe die and get cloned more often. Everybody else except Ghost is going to take a point in dexterity. Ghost had 1 in the hole, and with that 3, he can get 2 points in combat to bring him up to 20. I've then got some bureaucracy to deal with, so that's super fun, always. So I'm currently at a +3 to get my equipment that I tried for last time, which was a HUD and a rifle. Yeah, one of the phase 2 rifles. However, I am dispersed. Nobody likes dealing with me, so I got to roll twice and take the lowest. But I only need a 3 up, so if both dice are better than 3, I get some goodies. Both dice are better than 3, so we're going to get those goodies. And then I'm going again for my last base add-on, which is the Retech Lab. Also, I went for this last game and didn't get it. So, fail. Try again next time. And that, my friends, is going to do it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out while I played a game of Majestic 13. I hope to see you next time to see whatever menace from the void we have to deal with. And I hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of your day.